Everyone in Ido-Ile knew the scent of cocoa. It filled the air during harvest season. That rich, earthy sweetness that clung to your skin and stayed in your clothes. At the heart of it all stood Adebanjo Cocoa Depot, a dusty warehouse behind the market square. Juliet Moriah worked there. Slim, brown-skinned, with eyes too quiet for a girl of 22. She had come to live with her uncle after her father died. Life hadn't given her much. No degree, no rich husband. Just long days sorting cocoa sacks and the sharp whispers of market women. Joseph was the supplier. Tall, dark, and built like a man who worked with his hands. He came every few days to inspect sacks and supervise loading. Divorced, in his late 30s, eyes like storm clouds, and a calm voice that made you stop and listen. They didn't talk much at first. Just nods, glances, the brush of fingers when she passed him a logbook. But soon, the cocoa shed became more than a workplace. It started one hot afternoon. Juliet was alone in the back room, dusting the weight scale when Joseph stepped in. His shirt clung to his chest from sweat. He smelled of palm oil and Old Spice. "You're always here," he said softly. "Where else would I go?" she replied, not turning. He came closer. "Your hands are rough. You work too hard." She looked at him now. The curve of his jaw, the way his eyes held hers without blinking. "You don't even know me," she whispered. "I want to," he said. And then it happened. A kiss, slow, hesitant, then hungry. Her back against the cold metal shelf, cocoa dust in her hair, his hands under her blouse, the smell of beans and sweat mixing with breath and moans. He lifted her onto the table. Her wrapper slid to her waist. He took his time. She let him. When they were done, she held him like someone afraid to let go. "I've never," she began, but stopped. He kissed her shoulder. "I know." It became routine. They didn't meet in hotels. No fancy lodges. Just the shed. Late evenings. Behind stacked sacks. Sometimes quick. Sometimes long and slow. Like he was trying to fill the emptiness in her chest. They talked too. About his failed marriage. She said I didn't dream big enough. He told her one night, shirt open, her head on his lap. But I gave her everything I had. Juliet never judged. Her body became his shelter, her silence, his peace. But peace never lasts in Ido-Ile. The trouble began with Madame Grace, Joseph's ex-wife. She owned a provision store near the roundabout. Light-skinned, sharp-tongued, with heavy gold bangles and a permanent scowl. She saw them once. Juliet brushing Joseph's shirt after he dropped a sack. That was all it took. "She's using something," Grace told people. "No girl like that can catch my husband unless she put juju in his food or under his pillow." Juliet laughed when she first heard, but the laughter died when women stopped greeting her, when children stopped buying sweet sticks from her tray, when her uncle called her aside one evening and asked, "What is this I hear about you and Joseph?" "I love him," she said. Her uncle slapped the table. "Love? With a man cursed by his wife? You want to die before 30. One day, Grace came to the warehouse. broad daylight, wearing a tight lace blouse, head tea tied like battle, and beads swinging from her neck. She stood at the entrance and called Juliet's name. "You, small witch, come outside." Workers froze. Juliet emerged slowly, her legs weak. Grace spat on the ground. "You think I don't know what you've been doing? Tying my husband with waist beads and river water. Thunder will strike you." Juliet didn't speak. Her voice was trapped in her throat. Joseph arrived mid-scene. "What's this nonsense?" he shouted, pulling Juliet behind him. Grace laughed bitterly. "You're defending her? Fine. She will drain you, just like the others. Watch." She left, but the damage stayed. That night, Juliet didn't sleep. She lay in a corner of the room, staring at the zinc ceiling. Her uncle had locked the cocoa shed. She was banned from going for a week. Joseph didn't come. By the 5th day, she went looking for him. His house sat on the edge of town, behind the Anglican church. When he opened the door, his eyes were red. "Don't come here again," he said. She stepped back. "You believe her?" He looked away. "People are talking. My business is suffering. Even my mother called from Osogbo. And what about me?" Her voice broke. "What happens to me?" He didn't answer. She turned and walked away, her heart heavy like wet cassava. Weeks passed. She stayed away, worked in silence, smiled less, ate little. But one afternoon, Joseph came again. He didn't speak, just pulled her behind the shed and kissed her like a man who had been drowning. "I'm sorry," he said. "I tried to stay away. I can't." She didn't fight him. They made love on the cold floor. Quiet, desperate. Afterwards, they lay side by side, hands touching. But something had changed. She saw it in his eyes. Fear. Fear of being ruined, of being cursed. Then came the sickness. Juliet fell ill. First it was fever, then vomiting, then bleeding. Her uncle said it was malaria, but the priestess they called said something else. She has been touched by spiritual jealousy. The old woman said, her voice dry like leaves. Somebody wants her womb. People murmured, "Grace." All fingers pointed. Juliet survived, but barely. She lost weight, her laughter, and her job. Her uncle sent her to Ibadan to live with a cousin. Said he didn't want trouble. Joseph tried to reach her, called, sent messages, but she ignored them. She didn't hate him. She just couldn't be weak anymore. 1 year later, she returned, thicker, stronger, eyes wiser. She opened a small kiosk beside the new filling station. Joseph came one day, looking older, thinner. They stood beside the Fanta crates, just staring. He said nothing. She smiled. "Still scared?" she asked. He sighed. "Still in love?" She nodded. "But I'm no longer the girl who hid in cocoa dust." He reached for her hand. She didn't pull away, but she didn't hold him either. Sometimes, love is not enough. Sometimes, secrets don't stay buried. But under the setting sun of Ido Ile, two hearts once broken stood side by side, no longer hiding, no longer ashamed,